Would you want to see how to make the yeah? The people just get to the Africa. If I give him something strong, maybe you will crazy.
This is a scam where you could potentially be, you lose every single item that you have, or worst case scenario, disappear in the mountains. This is a real escalation scam which starts with baiting, isolation, a price change, and an implied threat. And in this case, a warning from someone that if I didn't get out of this situation very quickly, I might disappear in the mountains. There are three questions that scammers ask you, and I've heard these all around the world. Which country? How long are you here for? First time. That's the way it goes, no matter what country you're in, if it's a proper scam. But when a fourth one appears, things change, because you're no longer being sized up, you're being priced. So the scams all over the world, no matter what country you travel to, you're gonna get scammed. This one isn't about losing a couple of dollars in Paris for a donation for a pen. It's not about come visit my brother's shop, and you know, it's not none of that kind of scams. This is a scam where you could potentially be, you lose every single item that you have, or worst case scenario, disappear in the mountains. Now, these figures aren't reported worldwide, the disappearances, but I can tell you from personal experience that happen. You go up to the Himalayas, you'll see photographs of people stapled to trees. Have you seen this boy? And they get replaced every year, and some families will go back particularly to replace the photographs and ask around. There are some countries in the world that have, in India, have their own detectives to go looking for lost people from that, I won't mention the country, but to go looking for people from that country who have been lost. Now, being lost could mean that you've ended yourself, that you've blended in with the culture so much that you don't want to be found, so these figures aren't readily available, but it's very simple to, if you go around Kasol up in India, up in the Himalayas, Kasol, Parvati Valley, you'll see these pictures all the time, tagged on trees. It's very sad and it's very scary. And it happens in South America, it happens in various countries. So this video is based on a situation that occurred to me in Chefchaouen, the Blue City in North Africa. Beautiful city. In fact, it's my favourite place in Morocco, from the Atlas Mountains to the Sahara Desert. It is, of course, a major distribution route and production area. As with all scams, guy approaches me, which country are you from? So you say the country, and they seem to know an awful lot about it. They oh, Guinness? Oh, and you beat Pakistan in cricket back in, and maybe even speak a bit of the words of your language. So this is to make a bond with you. Second question, first time India, first time Morocco, first time. This is to see how little you know about it, and can they, if you don't know the difference between what 10 rupees is to 10,000 rupees, it's very easy to scam someone. You're just there, you don't know what the value of thing is, you haven't got used to the currency yet. Third question I've always found is how long you stay here for. And that is to sort of gauge how long they have to scam you. Young lad comes up to me, offers me the product. I said I didn't want it. He went through the usual three questions, and then he said, how long are you here for, and what are you doing? And I said, I want to make some documentaries. And he said, oh, do you want me to bring you to see the cannabis fields, the production, would you like to see that? And I said, yeah, okay, well, what kind of, how much money are you thinking? And he started at a high price. We settled at, I believe it was 300 dirham, which at the time was 20 euro. I could be incorrect about the rate, but it was around that, however. It was about 20 euro to me. He was going to bring me around the production fields, and I thought, this will make a great documentary. I passed him every day on the street for a few days. Every time I passed him, we'd knuckle punch. I'd say 300, that's all, 300, no extras, no extras. And he'd say, no, it's 300, it's 300. He came up to me in the street and said, are you good to go? And I said, yeah, okay. We walked for about 5 minutes through the city and ended up at the most beat up taxi you've ever seen. It was like he just slapped a taxi sign up on the roof just for this occasion. That's what it was like. Taxi driver turns around to me. He was like the prison warden out of Midnight Express, you know, one white eye, black pins of teeth, and he looked quite sinister. So we start driving towards into the Rift Valley, and we're going, and it's getting pretty remote. The taxi suddenly stops. Two other guys get in, and they sit on either side of me and this kid. And the first question, the guy, and they looked really sinister. The guy has fingers missing. The other guy just was glaring at me. And the first question out of the brother's mouth was, "What do you work at?" And instantly I went, "We have a problem here. This is not going to go well." So I said, "I'm a gardener. I'm a psychotherapist." And, you know, but I said, "I'm a gardener." He says, "You're not a gardener." "I'm a gardener." And I said, "I know you're a gardener. That's why I'm here." I generally, if I start feeling scammed, and I've been all around the world, scammed many times, and I generally have a kind of a few plans of how to get out of situations or to look out for myself. So I asked him to pull over. He pulls over. I got out to pretend I was having a pee, and what I was doing was I was taking panoramic shots. I did this a couple of times. I was taking panoramic shots because if I'm going to be in the Rift Valley, same as if I was in somewhere in the Himalayas that I don't know, I wanted to know how I would get back and how I'd get out of this situation. So I take the panoramic shot. We continue the drive, and we're getting deeper and deeper into the Rift Valley until we stop in an area. There's two houses. Me and the lads walked through the cannabis fields. They were explaining about the strains. They were explaining about its production, how it moves. So then we end up in the only other building in the area, which was quite a deep storeroom. And I'm brought to the very back. Storage area is about 20, 30 foot long. I've got two guys sitting to my left who are just staring at me. I've got the kid and one of his brothers who are doing the production. There's a guy stood blocking the only exit, kind of just, you know, wandering around looking like he didn't know what to do. So we're in the middle of nowhere. There's the isolation. He goes through the whole process. At one point, he's kind of telling me that this was 3 kilos or 4 kilos of the product, which he would later expect me to pay for.
How many kilo here? Do you know how many kilo here?
Kilos, 2?
This is. It's more, maybe 5. Yeah, she 5. Yeah, how much kilo here? Like this.
5?
5 kilos, like.
No.
Huh?
No, 5 kilos.
More, no? Just 4, 3.
They scoop through the barrel, come out with a little, the size of a match head piece of hashish pollen. And he passes it to me and he says, explains how strong it is. And, you know, at this point I'm starting to feel quite threatened. Well, I've felt threatened since he asked me what I worked at. That's when the red flag, I should have got out there, really. So he says that, it's after taking this 3 kilos, 4 kilos, whatever he started with, to make this little tiny thing, and it's the strongest known to man. It'll drive people crazy. Do you want to get a joint together?
Do you have fire? Do you have fire?
Got a single Skinner together, and he said, "Smoke it." And I says, "Well, no, I don't want to smoke it. I don't smoke."
Because the people just get to Africa. If I give him something strong, maybe you will crazy.
I'm trying to make him think that I could be a major buyer, because I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to get out of this. So I give him the impression that I could be coming back here and, you know, we'll set up a relationship and there could be some trading going on. And, you know, he stands up and he says, "Pay the man." And I stood up and I went, "Okay, 300 dirham. And the guy stood up and he says, "300 dirham?" He said, "No, it's 300 euro. And I said, "It's 300 euro. He says, yeah, what are you, crazy? And I said, yeah, I am crazy. I am very crazy. This kind of got into a bit of a situation. The guys are looking a bit more frenzied. The guys stood more in front of the door blocking my exit. And this is the isolation and the price flip discussed. So the price gets flipped. I'm feeling threatened, which is the fourth one, implied threat. They all stood up. They're quite threatening looking guys. He then says, what, you've got a taxi here? We're after giving you tea. You think this is going to be, you are crazy. And I said, yeah, I am fucking crazy. Because I started to get a bit more, I thought if I come across as, if you come across as a victim, you will become a victim. That's the long and short of it in any country. So I said, I'm not going to play the victim here. So I just kept saying that to him. Yeah, I am fucking crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy. You've never met anyone who's fucking crazy. And he's looking at his friends and there's words getting passed between them. And I just threw down the 300 dirham on the table and got up, just started putting my bag on, expecting them to stop me. And they're just chatting away with each other, shouting, and he's getting angrier and he's getting angrier. And I start to walk out towards the door and I'm pushing two of them out of the way. And the guy who's blocking the door in particular, I'm straight past him. So there's about a half-kilometre walk to the taxi. On it, I was walking slowly. I wasn't going to, you know, I don't want to look like a victim. I was watching their shadow. I could see their shadow where the sun was. I could see their shadow, and I'd be able to see very quickly if they were coming, if they were getting closer. In which case, my guard would go further. Now I'm well able to look after myself, but against five guys, I probably don't have much chance. So I walk slow. We go through the fields. They're all behind me. It's getting angrier and angrier, and I'm still taking it nice and slow. Even stopped at times, took another couple of photographs just to show them I don't give a shit about you guys. You're a minor hindrance to my day. That was the vibe I wanted to give. Inside, my heart was pounding. Get to the taxi, and as soon as I'm at the taxi, the kid is outside. Two of the brothers, and I said, what's happening now? He said, pay us more money. And I said, you're not getting more money. And then he shut the door. He tried to shut the door of the taxi, and I thought, am I getting pinned in to stop me trying to escape if the taxi guy was in on it? So I pushed my leg outside the door of the car, and they were trying to slam the door for me to pull the leg in. I was going, God, this is not going to go well. So I'm still being calm, still making eye contact. And the kid says, I said, pay the taxi man. That was agreed. No, he says, wait here. We'll go and get some locals who'll share the taxi with you back into Chefchaouen. And I'm thinking, there's only two houses. 5 of these lads are here. Who's he going to get, right? So I'm kind of thinking to myself, what should I do here? I'm still kind of ballsy enough to turn around, and the taxi man says, come on, you should go now. And I says, I'm not going. I'm not paying any more taxi fare. He's paid. He's in charge of this. I'm not giving you another penny. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm waiting for these. He says, you think they're going to get someone to get a taxi with you here? Do you think that's what's going? Now his English was very bad, but he was trying, and he had a panicked look on his face, very panicked. And in his panic, he said to me, you have to go. You have to go. And I said, why? And he said, people disappear in these hills. To show his sincerity, he took his wallet out. Now this was this guy was pretty rough looking himself. He took his wallet out and started to show me photos of his children, photos of his family, and he was just putting his hands together, and he goes, Chefchaouen, go now. And he's, and I went, well, how much? And he says, whatever the price is. And I says, I'm not giving you that. Until eventually he said, you don't understand. You don't understand this, how dangerous this is. He said, he's putting his hands together. He says, I'll bring you to Chefchaouen free. Just come, let's go now. Do not wait for these men to come back. Please, please, please. If this guy is telling me that I'm in that much danger, and I don't know where these guys are going and who's going to come back to me, I thought, let's cut my losses here. There's no point in you know, braving this out just not to lose face. So I said, let's go. Eventually we drive back. I was still wondering, am I getting scammed here further? Because I was in India. I was driven further into the mountains by police who weren't police. So I was wondering, am I getting dragged further into the mountains for a proper disappearance where I will not be found? Off we drove. We get into Chefchaouen. He turned around and he got some other guy to come over, and the other guy came over and he said, you look like David Beckham, you look like David Beckham. And he explained in English what the taxi driver was saying. He said, you have just been in a situation extremely dangerous that you might not have come back from. And you have made the best move possible by coming back. So I'm giving you this information because I've seen repeats of this in different ways. The baiting, the isolation, the price flip, and the threat. I've seen the same situation in many countries, and it always kind of goes the same. So I'm giving the information to you to keep you safer and to watch out for these things. If you've got expensive cameras on and you look like a tourist and you look like a victim, then you are a target and you have to look out for these things. So I wish you well on all your travels. Stay safe.